All right, I think it's time to start. So, hey everyone, I hope everyone is doing amazing. It's very sunny here, so I hope you also get the same amount of sun because we were waiting for that for a very long time. For the people that don't know us, we are Flusk, and what we do is basically we allow people that build apps on Bubble, like probably like you guys, to both secure and monitor their apps. So we've been in we've been available since maybe one year for most people, and we have an online tool that everyone can install, and it will allow you to find security vulnerabilities on your app, but also monitor your app. And I'm gonna dig into that a little bit today. And basically, what I want to show today and what I want to speak about is related to the new features that we released recently. So recently, we've released new features that allow you to see a lot of like metrics related to workload units, basically. So, for example, on my app, who is the user that's consuming the most workload units? So this is what I can see in my Flusk dashboard. As you can see, I'm the one consuming quite a lot of workload units, but it's still like a dollar per 7 days, so it's quite okay. And other features like see, for example, which workflows are taking the longest to run in average and also in total. So I can also see, oh, look, my users are probably impacted by this workflow here because it's in average per run, it takes 10 seconds. So it means that for this specific workflow that is on this page, my users are blocked for 10 seconds. So these are very cool features for maybe some people here were able to try them out already. This is something we thought, oh, that should be in Bubble. That's quite useful. So let's making it Flusk. But what we've noticed it's basically there's a friction because it's basically very annoying if every time you want to check, oh, okay, this workflow, what is the average run of this workflow? What is how much this specific workflow is consuming in terms of workload units? It's quite annoying. So what you have to do now is you have to open the Flusk dashboard, um, look up your workflow, and then look at the metric. It's cool because at least you can do it, but it's not handy. It's not the best solution. So this is what we call the Flusk friction. You need to open the Flusk app every time you want to check something, and that's an issue. That doesn't make the things. It makes things easier, but it doesn't make them as easy as they could be. So what I want to present today is the solution to that. What we came up the last few months to solve this issue, and it's how do we bring Flusk and Bubble a little bit closer so that it works better and in a more smooth way, basically. And the solution that we found for that, maybe some of you thought about it, that's what other people have done. It's basically a Chrome extension. So we're going to release in the next 2 weeks a Chrome extension for Flusk that will work on Bubble, and that will have a lot of quite cool features. I see a lot of hearts and happy things in the chat. Thank you. By the way, if you guys have any questions, feel free to interrupt me. So this is our way of bringing Bubble and Flusk a little bit closer to integrate all these cool features in a very in more smooth way. So we're gonna start with the smart deployments. For you guys, if you don't know, we have a feature on Flusk that allows you to say, look, I want to deploy my app now, but there might be users that are doing stuff on my app, so I don't want to interrupt them with the banner saying, hey, this app has just been updated. Sorry, you have to start again everything and refresh the page. No. So what we do is you can use Smart Deploy, where Flusk basically tries to deploy your app when no one is live. And we do that in two ways. We do that by first, if we keep monitoring your app, and then if there's a gap and no one is connected, then we just push it. Otherwise, if there is no gap in users, if your app is really busy, we look for the moment where there is the less amount of user compared to the average for that day, for that week, basically. So let's say if every Monday at this hour of the time, you usually have 100 users, and now you just have 20, then we'll release your app. We'll deploy it. But again, you have to go on the Flusk dashboard and deploy it. So what we came up with is on the Chrome extension, you'll be able to use this little deploy with Flusk and schedule a deployment right from the Bubble editor. So then you won't even have to think of doing a small deploy. It will be integrated in the Bubble editor already. It's already working. It's already there. The only reason why we haven't published the extension yet is we first want to try it with a few alpha testers, because as we touch the Bubble editor, we don't want, if you guys use it and then it breaks something and then suddenly you can't edit your app, can be critical. So that's why we take also extra steps before releasing it. That's the first feature from the Chrome extension. Pretty basic, but cool. But what's coming next is better. We're gonna have advanced integrations. That's what I call it. But basically, we don't want you to go in Flusk in order to see which workflows have a security issue, for example, or which workflows are performing well or not well. You'll be able, from your Bubble editor, to have little icons on your workflows, basically 3 types. One saying, hey, this workflow has either errors linked to it, so it can be like a Stripe error, it can be a plugin that fails usually when it runs, or it can be a security vulnerability. So you don't even have to go in Flusk and look into what's wrong. It comes up directly in your Bubble editor. And then you can also see, if you do edits or make changes to your workflows, you can see how that affects your workflow recently. So for example, you have a workflow when this page is loaded that has been running for, I don't know, maybe 3 weeks, and then suddenly you make a change. We'll see that you made a change to that workflow, and we'll show you an icon if that change was positive or negative in terms of workload unit consumption, and also in terms of performances. And by performances, I mean the time that workflow needs to run. So let's say I have a workflow for my payment flow, and I want my payment flow to be really fast. You won't have any icon, but then you're like, okay, I'm going to try to make a new change to see if I can make it faster and more improved, more optimized. As soon as you will edit this workflow, we will detect it and we'll show you this blue icon if the changes that you've done are having a positive impact, or otherwise this icon, the red icon, if this is bad and this is critical. So it's also a nice way of spotting, hey, I just made an edit in my app, I just changed the workflow, and I see that it's actually consuming 10 times more workload units. You'll be able to see that right from your Bubble editor. So that's pretty cool. And then we're going to continue with this, with basically more integrations from the Flusk dashboard into Bubble directly. So you'll be able, in just right-clicking on the workflow, to see the logs associated with the workflow, also the errors. I'm going to show that on the next page, and also see a report of the performance and watch the workflow if you want to see the logs coming in real time. But that's for a future version. And this is what it will look like. Basically, you could just click right and explore workflow, and it will tell you this workflow is pretty reliable. And by reliable, I mean there is no errors coming regularly, so it always runs without an issue. You could see how much is this workflow used in average compared to other workflows. So is this my top 1 workflow, then the most run workflow, or is this just any workflow that is like, in the very late percentiles? I can also see the performance impact of the workflow. This is basically, is this specific workflow slowing down my app for any reason? And the number of errors that this workflow generated, basically, unfortunately. The logs are also going to be embedded, meaning in just a right click on a workflow, you'll be able to see the runs directly, the logs from this specific workflow. Because the way we have it now is you need to go on the Flusk dashboard and do an advanced search for a specific workflow, and then put the workflow ID, which is definitely not handy. So here it'll be much quicker because from the bubble editor, you'll just be able to right click and explore the logs from a single workflow. So if you're doing, I don't know, if you know there's an issue on this workflow, then it's perfect. You can just have a look at what's wrong in the logs. Or if you're just building something and you're not sure if something works perfectly, or if you want to try, or if you want to just debug something, you could just preview, run, go back to the bubble editor, right click, and see the logs directly from that specific workflow without having to go in the bubble editor's logs, try to refresh. And I mean, probably. So this is another part that is pretty cool. And for having tested this is actually making bubble development much quicker when you want to just try something. This is obviously not helping in going faster in your development, but this is actually helping, which is quite cool. I see a comment saying that logs are a real pain point in Bubble. That's awesome to make auditing and debugging more smooth. Huge thanks. Yeah, thank you. Well, that's what we fought too. So that's what we're trying to fight against. And like when I say we, it's Wesley and I, my co-founder. We are very passionate about Bubble. So this is just also a beginning. There's always more coming. Recently, we developed the visual log viewer that allows you to see logs visually, like Make does it. That was really helpful, but we can also go much further with that. So there's a lot of also new changes coming with this, but this is definitely helping quite a lot. And that's pretty much it for the Flusk Chrome extension, released, I want to say in 2 weeks, but it might be in 3 weeks. So let's say beginning of April 2024, we'll release the Flusk.com extension with all the features that I just showed you before. And the next versions also will have more features and more options. And we have an ID board where people can, suggest an ID, and we're quite active about it. So that's it. And if you want to test the Chrome extension when it's being released, you can use the promo code DevDays 2024, and that gives you a free month just to try it out. Basically, it's a free month for any plan. You don't have to, you can cancel at any time. You can just use the code and basically try it out. So that's it, basically a little bit of teasing during this day so you can see what's coming in terms of monitoring and logs. And as we have a little bit of time, just to confirm, it's DevDay 2024, right? Yes, that's it. And as we have a little bit of time, if anyone has questions, please feel free about any of these or about monitoring in general on Bubble, about security. I'm happy to answer any question that you might have. If any. I'm going to put you guys on my big screen. Yes, Nino, feel free to speak. I think you have control over your mic, if I'm not wrong.
Yep. Hey, Victor. Hello.
Hey.
Yeah. So I'm not exactly sure what the root cause was, but we had an issue with Flusk before where our live app suddenly had the run mode password console enabled, limiting the access for users. We've tried out Flusk before, and we love it like so far, but we're afraid that this might happen again. Is there a way to disable this on your end by any chance?
Can you can you specify again what was the issue exactly
Yeah.
that you went
So
through?
the run mode, the one where you would need to input the app password and username,
Yeah.
where you could limit. Yeah, we had an issue like that before, and it affected our live app. I'm not sure if that bug was on your end, but um, I believe it was that case. Is there a way to get over that by any chance?
Right. Yeah. This we had a bug with this with the old version of our plugin. But if you go in your Bubble editor and upgrade your plugin, that won't happen again. So you can just upgrade the plugin in your editor. Nice. So in the meantime, if there's any other questions, basically what the plugin allows you to do, so we have the Flusk plugin that you can add to your app, and what it does is that basically whenever someone is live on your app, it will send information to our server. So when I say information, it's just basically the user ID and the time, and we'll be able then in our dashboard to tell you who's online at this specific moment. You can't do that in Bubble except you integrate it by yourself, but it's also quite intensive in terms of resources. Hardware doesn't consume any workload units, so basically that's a way for you to see who's online and who's not online without consuming any workload units. Now that we know also that Google Analytics is not GDPR compliant in Europe, that's also a good alternative. Yeah, down to the very details of the user. So that's that. I didn't put in the presentation because it's quite basic, but I mean, I thought it was quite basic, but it's actually not. But in the first version of the Chrome extension, there will also be, when you go in the user tab in your Bubble editor, so you have all your users you can run as, and there will be a new button to see the user in Flusk, and that'll tell you when was the user last active, how many workload units did this user consumed over the last 7 days or 30 days, for example, and which bugs did he encounter. If you want to check if you have a big customer, you want to check if he ran into any issue during something specific, then you can also see it from there. So as I said, the Chrome extension will be released in 2 weeks. But I forgot to mention, Wesley is reminding me now, it will be only for beta testers. So we have a link. I think Wesley is going to share it. Everything is here. But what you're asking is, can I have an API to see for a specific user what is workload unit consumption? It's a good idea. It's a good question, actually. And something that we have planned, we have a few users that have requested that. And basically, the use case for most people is, as you said, restricting a user to consume a certain amount of workload unit. But we also have a lot of people that want to make apps, and basically their pricing model will be the same as Bubble. So basically, if you want to use their app, you will be priced on your amount of workload unit that you consume, and that will use our API to get the data. So this is something that it's on the roadmap, but I don't have an ETA for now, but probably in the next 5-6 weeks. And I saw that Wesley sent the link already if you want to join the beta access for the Chrome extension, and then we'll send it to you in 2 weeks. Do you have a public roadmap? Yeah, I can send it to you. Get the link. Here's the public roadmap with all the requests from our users, basically. And what you're looking at, I think, is, I don't think there's an item to that, but you can definitely add it. I'll merge them. It's on our internal roadmap. So that's it. We're gonna bring it to an end. If there's any more questions, feel free to ask. If you just want to say hi, feel free to put your camera and just say hi. Otherwise, that will be it. All right. Well, then I guess that's it. That's an end. Thanks for joining. Appreciate it. And have a good dev day. I saw a lot of nice stuff in the program, so we might see each other in other things.
Wait, there is a last question, I guess, no?
Yeah,
Nino.
feel free to go, Nino, if you want to go. Probably typing it. Good question. The extension, I'm guessing, will be free. It will be part of the Flusk subscription. You will need to have a Flusk subscription in order to use the extension. We need to do that because we need to process the data also on our end. So I'm guessing that will be released for all the tiers. So from the MVP plan to the growth plan to the scale plan, everyone will have access to it with no limitations. But yeah, it will be free within the Flush subscription.
I think no question is a good sign, just because the product is so huge, really, really. Like it's
Thank
impressive if you are able to release new features in so few time, so few time lapse. I don't know. It's how do you do that? It's incredible. Are you 10 guys working on it? Are you
Secretly,
are you
secretly,
are
we
you,
are.
are you sleeping sometimes? Because it's being integrating bubble. I think it's a huge step. It's
Yeah, no, well, for this specific use case, for the Chrome extension, we work with other people because for all the stuff that are like no code, low code kind of vibe, Wesley and I can definitely do it, and we love to do it. But the Chrome extension is just pure code, and for that we're a little bit like, ooh. So we have team our lead developer that's basically we're working on it now as we speak, actually. So
congrats. It's really good. I enjoy it.
thanks,
I look forward to test it.
appreciate it. Well, we'll send it to you when we have it.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. All right, guys, thanks for joining. I think I'm gonna bring it to a close. Have a good day. Have a good rest of the day. And if you have any questions or if you want anything, please feel free to chat with me and Wesley on LinkedIn or anything. We're very accessible people, so and nice. So
Thank you.
have a good day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.